Hey everybody, this is Claire, and this is Small Joyful Things. As always, I go to thrift stores, I go to estate sales, and sometimes I buy things from Craigslist, and I look for things that either tell me a story or teach me something new. Or sometimes it's just that I find interesting. And then I bring them home, I try to find out as much as I can about them, and I tell you guys about them. So here's what I've got today. I have... Well, this is a vase, but I kind of wanted to show the top-down view just so you could see this wonderful spiral effect. This is what it actually looks like. It is really, really unusual, and it's also quite tall. It's going to be very interesting trying to measure it, but we'll have a go. It is 9 inches tall, and it's about 5 inches across at the widest point. Okay, so just for fun, and because I already know this is Scandinavian, we have blacklight. Kind of really doesn't do anything. Get a cool effect on the video. Look at that blue. And that's about it. No, this is definitely modern. There's no question about that. Okay, so what have we actually got here? So I bought this in a thrift store for $4, okay? And I'm pretty sure that the reason that I only bought it for $4 is that the people working at the thrift store had exactly the same problem as I did and couldn't figure out anything about it, even though it's labeled. And it turns out it's incredibly difficult to get a handle on what this actually might be worth. So first of all, here are the labels, and there was actually more than one. Sea Glasbruk, Kosta, Sweden. And then we have a mark here, Lena Engman. Now, you'd think having labels would make things easy to look up, and you'd be absolutely wrong in this case. So I'm just going to put that over there a second. So the first thing that's kind of confusing, come on, there we go. The first thing that's kind of confusing is that, okay, well, first of all, looking at that, what's the actual name of the company, would you say? Do you think it would be Sea Glass, or just is that the first part, second part? No, it's Sea Glasbruk. Glasbruk is the name, is glassworks in Swedish, okay? And it's the actual location of it is Kosta, Sweden, and that's the place. It's not like that's not the name of the company. But it's kind of confusing because the Sea Glasbruk became a part of a company, which is Orrefors Kosta Boda. So everyone's just kind of looking at this and going like, oh, okay, so I guess this is a modern piece from after it joined Kosta Boda, but no, I think it's actually prior to that. Just because, like, I think this is the label for Sea Glasbruk before it joined Kosta Boda. It's literally just telling you, this is where it is. Sea Glasbruk in Kosta, Sweden. That's it. So okay, what have we actually got here? So if you know about Kosta Boda is kind of this kind of very well-known company especially for Scandinavian kind of art glass kind of stuff. If you ever see it in thrift stores, they do this very lovely kind of mid-century modern clear glassware, which I'm not gonna lie, I lust after some of it, even though I don't normally do clear glass. But this particular glassware, like the actual reason that, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Back up, Claire. So Kosta, Sweden is a town, okay? And it initially became well known as being kind of the kingdom of crystal because so many glassworks were established there. It wasn't just Kosta Boda. A lot of them just kind of amalgamated together, eventually became Orrefors Kosta Boda. Like a whole bunch of them came together, and at least by the 1990s. But while, like before that, there were just glassworks basically all over the place, and that's why it was known as that. It's become a tourist destination now, as far as I know. But one of those glassworks was the Sea Glasbruk, and this was established in the 1950s. Kosta itself, like what would become Kosta Boda, actually started in sometime in 1740 something. You know, this has been around much longer. This was a newer one. And they did a lot of mid-century art, like mid-century modern glass. So this is obviously 20thcenturyglass.com, Sea Glasbruk Glass Identification Guide and Gallery, and it gives you some idea of like what kind of stuff they would have done. And And the really terrible thing is that nothing looks like this. Literally nothing. I have looked a few different places, and I've even kind of spread my search parameters and tried to Google basically anything to kind of work out what this might be. And I have come up with almost nothing. Like, it just doesn't really make any sense. This kind of reminds me of stretched glass, if you know what that is. Basically they just, it was a thing back in the Depression era. They used to take glass and spray it with salt, and then as it cooled, it would kind of start to crackle, and that kind of reminds me of that. But it's definitely not that, as far as I know. This is kind of like this weird combination of like spatter that got stretched up across the form. I don't know. I think it might actually be like, I don't know. It's so weird. It doesn't really look like anything I've ever seen before. And I ended up picking it up, and I picked it up and I held it and thought, this feels right in the hand. This feels like something that's got a lot of potential, that has a story. It sparks joy. And then I saw the mark down at the bottom. I thought, oh, Sea Glasbruk. And I don't really know anything about it, only that, like, Glasbruk is glassworks in Swedish. So I thought, you know what, this looks kind of cool. I'm going to get it for $4. Why not? But now I've left myself in this conundrum. I can't find out anything about it. And despite the fact that I've got the name of the artist right there, I can find out practically nothing about her. She is listed here, if you actually look. Sea Glasbruk was founded in Sweden in 1956 and is still in production today. Designers at the factory include Borg, Lena Engman, who we're interested in, a few others, and then Sea Glasbruk is now part of Orrefors Kosta Boda. And there really isn't any more information about it apart from that. It's really irritating. The only other real thing I could figure out about it is that apparently it became a part of Orrefors Kosta Boda sometime in the late 1980s. So what does that make this? I really don't know. I get the feeling that this is prior to that. So, I mean, it would certainly be vintage. But based on the label, that still kind of looks like a modern enough looking label. I don't think it's going to be prior to the 1980s, maybe early 1980s. But that's kind of stretching. I don't really know. I'm pretty sure that it would not have produced glass under this label after it was, it's been taken over by Kosta Boda. And there's also the question of, like, I have tried my absolute best to find out when Lena Engman was actually designing for Sea Glasbruk, and I couldn't even find that out. There's some places that said it was like the 1950s, and I thought, okay, that seems very early, and I definitely don't think this is going to be from the 1950s. It just doesn't strike me as being the correct at all. But that it just doesn't help. It's like the information I found is basically all over the place. And the other problem that we've got, I'm just going to do the search here. Lena Engman. None of her work looks like this. Like, none of it. It's all just these colorful painted designs. It seems that, like, this one actually here is, there's one guy who's selling this very odd looking kind of vase here, or a candle holder of some kind, and actually says signed Lena Engman. It was literally just a sticker. I mean, come on, let's say it's a sticker. Come on. I really don't know. I get the feeling that, like, this is one of the pieces that she maybe designed for Sea Glasbruk, but it's not her own style. So it's so irritating to not be able to figure it out. I've got so many hints here, just tantalizing little hints of what this could be, but not really anything else. And you can see that the prices are basically all over the place as well. This one here has details about Sea Glasbruk, Love Gold Bowl, and designed by Lena Engman, Costa, Sweden. But it, like, they misspelled Costa. That doesn't really give us any more information. And the other problem, if I go over to eBay, there isn't really a whole lot of Sea Glasbruk up on eBay anyway. The sold comparable items are kind of all over the place. There's nothing like this. And I can't really find anything at all made by Lena Engman, even anything that's actually sold. It's apparently her work is either really, really rare, or nobody wants it and nobody's selling it. It's It's irritating. So if I want to go with an actual cost on this, I really don't know. I'm probably going to just put it up for, considering I got it for $4, I'm probably going to put it up for maybe 5 or 6, let the auction run, and then see who takes it. Someone's going to get a really nice art glass vase out of it with its original stickers, definitely vintage, for probably a song. Who knows? It is what it is, I think. So I know this isn't quite small, but you know, there you go. This is my joyful thing for today, even though it's definitely frustrating me a bit. Maybe I'll find out more about it before I sell it. You never know. Thanks for watching, guys.